What's up, Instagram? Welcome to another morning show. Good to be here. Back having a guest. Got a new friend. Give us a quick introduction. What you're all about.
Hi, I'm Ashley Michaud. I'm founder of Elemental Growth. And I'm a holistic health coach. I help busy moms and entrepreneurs feel the best they've ever felt and align better to nature, their purpose in life. Keep going.
No, it's great. It's great. So you know, you've seen the show a little bit. You've watched my YouTube videos. We're both in the Toronto area, and we're here now. So how can I help? You're in the early stages of your business.
Yes, just starting to put myself out there, making money, writing a book, taking on some one-on-one clients as well that aren't involved in my school, so I'm actually going out and getting them myself.
Right. So you know, I'm a busy entrepreneur. How are you going to help me? What are you going to teach me?
First, how to customize your diet, clean that kind of stuff up, and then the rest of your life following. So maybe it's like you need to exercise more, but you don't know what it is that you like. You do, you know you like to dance, but there's plenty of people that put it off and put it off and put it off because they don't know what it is that they like. And it's the same with diet too, you know. It doesn't really matter whether you're trying keto or gluten-free or whatever. You know, some people know because they've done the test, they know that's what they're allergic to, but most people don't know why they're moody in the middle of the day or why they crave that chocolate or anything. So I'm there to kind of customize that roadmap to get them where they need to be, and then following that we can get into some bigger goals when it comes to whatever else they're trying to achieve, whether it's for their family or for their business or...
Right. So what's the challenge you're facing right now? Getting going.
I think I hold myself back in some way.
Need more belief?
I need more belief. Yes.
Okay.
I really love what I do, so I don't always want to charge for it. When I'm making friends, that's what I set out to do, even when I am marketing or anything. I just tell myself, you know, I'm making friends. But I don't want to charge my friends.
Right.
So, but I know that I need to make money to reach some of my bigger goals. Like as we were talking, like I do want to have an eco home and a food forest so I can teach people as well as have like maybe align with Airbnb and Woof to bring in other people that can really be a part of it as well.
Right, okay. I mean, before we talk, I see you've got a book coming out.
Yes.
You want to do one-on-one coaching with people? You want to do group coaching with people?
Okay, well, so here's the thing. One of my courses that the school is doing is a coaching mastery course, and there is a test on there that I just got this week, and I thought that I wanted to do one-on-one coaching because that's what we're trained to do.
Okay.
But I knew right away, as soon as my course before this one had started, I had already started doing organizing group coaching. So really, instead of believing in what I was doing already, I was like, well, now I've done the schooling, I got to do what it is that they're telling me to do. And then I did this quiz this week, and everything was telling me, no, it should be group coaching for me. That's more what I'm into, as well as self-guided coaching, so organized self-guided programs for people as well, so that they can kind of do it on their own pace.
Like follow YouTube video or audio CD or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my challenge with that is that video scares me.
You're here, you're doing it, this is it.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, but group coaching would be face-to-face or online or a mix?
Online, I think I prefer more, with my lifestyle being a busy mom myself.
Right. And it would be video?
Yes.
So join our Zoom or join our Google Hangout or
Yeah.
whatever.
This one coming up, I found some guest speakers, experts in different things from mindset to finances even. So we're going to be doing one Zoom each week with them, and then I'm going to do a Q&A Zoom myself. And this will be my first one really like this with people that I don't know personally. Or
Nice.
I've had people in that I don't know personally, but there was still somebody that I knew that brought them in. It wasn't all...
And you're organizing it, or you're joining?
I'm organizing it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so this will be my fourth one in the year, because it's the last one being winter, but I forget where I was going with that. But this is my first one done like this with all the video included.
Why this? Why holistic nutrition, all this stuff? Like, why not something else?
I was like, I knew that I wanted to do stuff like this since I was a little kid. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that I was aligned with nature in another way, that I wanted to make these natural alternatives for people. What I did, I was already kind of doing it, even in high school when computers were first becoming popular. I would go home and I would print like all these natural alternatives for makeup, and I'd give them to my friends and things. I knew, even though I didn't know why, I didn't have all the science to back it up, it was just in my gut. Somehow I kind of lost that in life, but when I did come back to it, I really started honing in on like permaculture and herbology studies, things like that.
But have you figured out why it's so important to you?
Why it's so important to me? I think because it can change the world.
Sure, but like, there's lots of things that can change the world, right? Like dancing can change the world, and YouTube videos can change the world, and entrepreneurship can change. Like, I think everybody wants to serve. I think humans are built to serve. Like, if you're not happy, you're not serving enough.
Yeah.
But why this path to serve the world?
The industrial industry really drives me crazy. So
is there a moment that you can remember, or it's like?
No, it's just like a rebel inside of me. It's
Okay.
like I need to go against the norms. I need to fit out in a way. I don't always have the confidence to do that, but this is my way of doing it.
Right.
It's to kind of.
So what I'm trying to help uncover is when you're pitching, when you're promoting, when you're marketing, to figure out what is it that makes Ashley different than everybody else. So there's tons of people who say the same things that you would say about holistic coaching and nutrition and all this stuff, right? So great, but they don't have the same. If I joined their call, it wouldn't be the same as joining your call.
Yeah.
Even though you might believe in the same thing, right? Like, we're trying to save the world, we're trying to have a healthy planet, we want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, get off the coffee Red Bull and start drinking the ginseng, whatever. You know, you may even have the same tactics, but the way you approach will be different. Sitting in a web chat with you versus somebody else will be a totally different experience, and it comes from your story. So what's the different experience I'm going to get working with Ashley versus somebody else?
So I think with me is that it's no judgment. I come from a background where I've seen a lot and I've experienced a lot, both in hospitality and in my childhood, and so there's not a lot of judgment there. It's just an open, safe space for people to explore.
Because in your background there was a lot of judgment?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But it's because they were all miserable, maybe.
Great. No, but awesome. Where is the worst judgment?
There is maybe a lot of like stigmatism on like looks. Everybody cared about what it is what they look like, and
Okay.
but then they go inside their house and it would be a totally different person. I don't know how to explain how I'm trying to go with
No,
it.
that's good.
I don't know. Sometimes I guess like just because they were, I don't know. So you have to ask me another
No
question.
problem. I believe your purpose comes from your pain.
Yeah.
And so as much as you want to, yes, like I want to help entrepreneurs out, and this is why I do this show, and why I'm meeting you, and why I do all my videos and everything. I think entrepreneurs will change the world. I think it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's up to the corporation and the government and all that. Like, we're going to change the world. And as much as I lean on positive, the real reason, though, buried deep, is because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur, and I felt so worthless as a human in my first business that I wanted to quit, and just felt absolutely worthless, that I don't want anybody else to have to feel that. And so that pain becomes the greatest gift. Now in everything that I do, I still resonate way more with the startup entrepreneur than the people who've made it and going to the fancy dinners and the VIP events and stuff, right? Like my heart is still, I remember myself crying and saying that I quit and like hating my life. And so that pain birthed everything that I do forever. So if we can tie in something that was painful, that then becomes your service, like you're going to help the pain that you went through. And I think this is also just part of what we want to do as humans. The pain that we've been through, we want to prevent the next generation from experiencing that same pain.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I think that's one of my passions for working with moms and things too. It's the children that are going to make the difference. And Dr. Seuss, he was like my mentor for that. Right?
Okay.
He like left the oil industry doing advertisements for them into making children's books.
Okay.
And he knew that was where it was going to be. But even though I'm not going right for the children myself, I think there's a lot of amazing people out there doing that. The moms I relate more to, and I'd really like to.
Was like early motherhood really tough for you?
No, my mother was really tough for me.
Okay.
The pregnancy and birth and parenthood now, I think I have been like really blessed and lucky in that way. And I'd like to help more that are struggling with that, because I think even though I can't help my mom right now, I think I could have helped her then.
Right.
And yeah, there's tons of people even now that like so many people. It can be like something simple like eczema or a stomach issue or constant colds or anything. And there's so many other alternatives that you don't even know. There was some. Sorry. I had like a bit of a revelation when you were talking before, but
okay.
I need to get back to that.
Okay, let's do. How do we get back to it? Do we need to meditate? How do we get back to it?
Yeah, maybe. So you're talking about like digging into the pain and things like that. So some of my pain is from seeing people that I love like really suffering and not liking themselves. And I mean, I've been through it myself before and everything. I think.
What's the thing they suffered with the most?
A lot of conditioning and thinking that you have to be perfect in some way.
Okay.
And or that you gotta like look the part, or caring too much about what other people think instead of. But then you go inside and they're yelling at their kids or doing this or whatever it is, or drinking or
right.
doing drugs or.
So here's the thing, right? So it's great. It's figuring out that pain, and then how does your new path, your holistic, all your solutions, nutrition, the meditation, the everything that you're doing, be the cure. So you mentioned drinking and drugs.
Yeah.
Like, can you help people who are alcoholic or have a drug addiction? Can you help them with what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I think that what really helped me the most and why aligning to nature is so important for me is because it was the only consistent that I had with like these natural patterns, and they've been around since before any of us, whether it's like the moons or the seasons or whatever, and when you can tune into those natural cycles, life gets easier because it gets broken up into smaller steps,
right.
and it can be more achievable and easier to track that progress and easier. Like nature has so many secret messages too. So,
but can you help? Can you dissect? Like if my wife Nina was an alcoholic, she's not. She'll probably be coming by at some point here, and she'll watch this. But if Nina was an alcoholic, and I don't know what to do. Like she just goes home and she drinks all day long, and it's ruining our life and our marriage and everything. Could you help her?
Do you know what I would want to do is send her to like some of the ones that are doing some of these new therapies with like ayahuasca
so you don't want to help
things
her.
like that.
That's something you want to help.
No, I'm kind of past that dark age, I think, for myself, but I do want to help with like, I don't know, if they're crazy drunk and they're doing it every single day and really bad, I want to refer them to somebody else and work with them and that other specialist or that team of specialists. I don't think I'd work with them specifically, or if they want to be in my group and have that kind of support and community, that's another option. So I think I'd present those things, but I don't exactly want to work one-on-one with that person specifically.
How come?
Unless they're going, how come I don't want to? Because I think that they need more, maybe more than me. So something that I would consider doing, or that like I am really passionate about, is these other medicines that shamans are doing in the Amazon, and now they're trying to pass psilocybin here in BC and stuff too. So I think those kind of treatments would be really beneficial for that, and if people were open and interested in that, I think I'd be on board or help organize in that way. I don't know. For some reason, I have like a blockage that stops me from going all the way with my business in that way, which is crazy because there's so many reasons why I want to, but it's still like a very controversial subject, and it's not.
Well, it may not work for everybody, and not everybody's going to be open to alternative
it's
stuff.
kind of,
But it's fine. But like
right?
if my alcoholic wife Nina was open to that, and maybe we've tried everything else, and you've tried therapy or tried whatever else, and it's like, I'm at my end. I gotta, I'm open.
I would help her, and I try to organize a team. What I would do is.
Do you want to manage that team?
Yeah. Or work
like how much
with
do you
them.
care
if there's
about
a doctor involved or a therapist and things like that, they have different training than me. So even though mine's like all holistic and it's gonna help, we still need that person that's really good with that part too.
No, I agree. But how much do you like? How much satisfaction do you get?
If I can really help somebody and change their life and get them back connected with the kids where they can I would get a lot of satisfaction out of that.
Take somebody who's an alcoholic or is addicted to a substance, and through a process, they get clean and start to enjoy their life.
Yeah. And especially if they could become an entrepreneur and do something they really love. And
sure, but maybe I love my job as a lawyer, maybe I love
it,
right?
Right? But it has to be something you love, because that's one of the reasons why people drink, is because they're not doing what they love, and I guess that's part of like the being open. And how do you judge that?
How much do you love helping that person who has the substance abuse or the alcohol, and you can help them get through it? How much do you like that versus, hey, I'm a busy entrepreneur and...
I would definitely get more satisfaction out of somebody that's coming out of difficulty.
But the specific difficulty.
Yeah, the specific
everybody has
difficulties.
difficulties.
Because I can relate to that, and I mean, my experience wasn't like anybody else's. Like any of my family has had addiction issues or anything like that. Like they really, really suffer with it.
Yeah.
When I made the decision, like, look, drinking isn't in my life anymore, I just walked away. When I made the decision, I don't want to smoke anymore, I just walked away.
Right.
And so there is something to that. And I know that I have something to offer. But anybody that I've actually talked to hasn't gotten it. They still just suffer, so I haven't been able to help. But I am getting really emotional, so you're right. This is like the direction that I gotta go.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think that's actually the thing.
Yeah.
And I think you then turn all the past pain that you've had growing up into like the greatest gift to the world of all time. And you develop, I'm getting emotional, like you develop the process of, and you don't have all the answers yet. That's okay. You're on the constant journey to figure it out. Yeah. Even coming here, like I can help with some things around entrepreneurship, but I can't help with everything.
Yeah.
But you have your piece and then you can go on the journey to figure out the other skills as well, right? So whatever else, like you have your holistic medicine, whether you want to also understand traditional medicine or whether therapy, if you want to develop those skills or build the team to have around you to develop those skills.
I think I'm already starting to establish a team.
Yeah.
and I hadn't even fully committed to this direction.
Yeah.
But I have been reaching out to some people for a while. So.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like I think if you could be the person, you could help entrepreneurs, you can help moms, because a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of moms have these issues.
Yeah. And people trying to get pregnant too, they'll still be drinking or doing cocaine on the
Right.
weekends or whatever.
But I think that's actually the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the thing of like the mom who's doing, it's not that the mom is the thing. It's the doing the cocaine is the thing. And if you can help people get through their addiction problems and come out on the other side, and then go and live happy lives and contribute to the world, I think that'll make you feel the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I think you're completely right.
So then now your programs become a lot easier to understand. Now it's not just I'm a holistic coach who helps moms and entrepreneurs. Well, how are you different? This is how you're different. You're going to help people get through their addictions. You're going to help people overcome. And whatever the thing is, that it could even be any substance abuse and alcohol, or it could be specific, like, like cocaine is the
or
thing.
Even sugar and pharmaceuticals too. Like, they're all still in there. Caffeine's in there.
Right? Yeah. I got my coffee as soon as she walks in, like, I guess this isn't good to be drinking right now. It's like, yeah, you should have some ginseng shots. Like, okay, I gotta go find some.
Well, coffee is good too, but maybe some
not some more.
Or some chaga in there.
Put a Loblaws and like shove stuff up. I don't think that's as big a thing. Like, I think that's part of it.
There's tons of people out there doing that already, and the goal is to be different,
But it still comes from your past and your pain, because that becomes how you cure the world. So if sugar was the thing, if everybody in your family was like massively obese and was like addicted to sugar, and people died because they just ate 18 cups of sugar every day, then that would have the emotional reaction for you. But that's not it.
It's alcohol and pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, and substance abuse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And the other stuff still fits in.
Yeah.
So to get over it, like, yes, we also want to live in.
I don't think I could ever turn anybody away and be like, no, I can't help you. Like, I think that my system really does work.
Right. But you're not the person to go to. You'll still maybe help that person who's like obese and wants to fix their life. You'll still like that person, but like you'll connect way more to the person who has a drug problem and feeling like you can help them overcome that.
Yeah, and it would be so refreshing to talk to somebody who is experiencing something like that and is really ready. And that's actually so, like, this has been a really good conversation.
Aren't you glad you came, right? You went on video.
I just did some marketing information. I printed off these stickers, one of my promo codes, like, I am ready.
Okay.
Like, what would it be that? I'm looking for that person who's ready to, like, really change.
Yeah. One, and it's you being ready to play a bigger game, too.
Yeah. That's
you are ready. It's your own code. Yeah, you are ready, right? I mean, it's really hard for somebody who's not ready. Like, for me, I could want you to win all day long as an entrepreneur, but if you're not ready to go out and do it, they're only ready to take like the next step. And sometimes the next step is just putting something on their radar, just planting a seed.
Yeah, I like that.
Sometimes it's just that's their level of readiness. It's just plant a little seed, and maybe that seed grows to something where then they're actually ready to take a bigger step. But I believe that even just being around, I think people who have an addiction, just being around you, will be planting multiple seeds, and you may not see the result immediately, but in 3 years they come back and say, when you talked about that whole like nutritional thing or ginseng or whatever, like, tell me more about it, right? Because you planted that seed and it starts to get in them.
Yeah, and I really do love that. I kind of thought of another blockage, or one of the reasons why it may be holding me back, or like the openness is sometimes I think when I'm like having these conversations with people that I'm like really going to step on their toes or like insult them, and I've had some really negative experiences with people who have addiction issues, right? Like yelling and abuse and things like that. So if I'm talking openly about this, I guess I just have to like be prepared for the negative feedback still, but it's not going to be the same situation. Or how do I break through that fear that I might be approached in that kind of way?
So you create your own process, like the Ashley process. What does that look like, right? And that may mean there's screening at the beginning, so you don't take on anybody who's emotionally abusive. Or you send them, give them another resource.
Yeah, or here, go see this person
Go see
first,
this person,
and then,
or go watch this video, or like,
yeah.
here's an online
Videos
course.
are
you can
so
take.
amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
But the people who you want to work with and coach are going to be the ones who are ready for growth. Doesn't mean that they won't make mistakes and they won't, maybe get frustrated or have pushback on certain things. The way I see it in terms of helping entrepreneurs and also just people on my team, you want to take people as far as you're able to go every time you meet them. So even here, like I want to take you as far as you can go, where there may be like pushback, but I don't want to take small steps because I'm afraid that you're not willing. Like I'm the one holding back instead of you. I want to hit pushback. I want to hit, right? So if you want to take people as far as they're able to go in every session that you have, whether it's one-on-one or group or a phone call or whatever. But you develop your process, which you don't know yet because you're figuring it out. Awesome, like you just graduated.
Yeah.
Great, you had some skills, and now you need to develop the process to go off and figure it out.
Yeah.
When I came up with the one-word concept in the book, a good reason for writing the book was I thought it was crazy for coming up with, I'm going to build my whole business around one word, believe I it seems ridiculous. And then I started researching, and I found other businesses that had done it. And I thought, that's pretty cool. Like other people have done it too. And I went to go talk to them. Some were here, or mostly were in the U.S. And I spent an afternoon talking to them about how they came up with their one word and how they applied to their business. And they all had their own process. Nobody had written the blueprint or the manual. And so I thought, I'll write the manual to make it easier for the next people, right? So you could very quickly learn the things that you need to learn to help somebody get through that addiction. You may not be able to help everybody, but you can figure out, okay, it works for these kinds of people. Like maybe you need to have somebody who, maybe the first step is somebody has to do a guided meditation with you. Like we have to sit down.
Like a trial run.
Right? Like we're going to do a 20-minute guided meditation on the moon, whatever, like the timing. I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm pulling at straws. But like we're going to do a 20-minute meditation together. And if they can't sit through a 20-minute meditation, like maybe they're not the fit for you.
Yeah. I like that.
Right? Or something else.
Yeah,
right?
I'll figure it out.
Right?
I
Or
know
like
where you're going.
you have to go do a shot of ginseng and go buy the 16-pack, whatever you recommended for me to do. And if they don't do it, then they don't go to the next step.
Yeah.
Right? So you develop your own process of, if somebody is anti-meditation, they're probably not going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, so I also have I was trained as a Reiki master, so I can teach those kind of programs, and it's like that. There's like a level 1, 2, and 3, and
Okay.
I kind of set up my programs maybe similar to that. You do this stage for this amount of money, and then you can progress on to the next and the next.
Yeah.
And,
So you have a program,
yeah.
you have a full program, but the first step is screening to see. So here's an example. When I hire people for my team, we're just going through this right now. I'll post an ad about what the job is all about, and somewhere in the middle, I'll post a question that'll be something like, how many YouTube subscribers do I have on my channel? And in your job application, lead with that number as the first sentence. 80% of people who apply never give me that number because they didn't read the job ad. Because they just said, oh, copywriter, great, apply, right? Automatic. And did that waste my time? And so I bury that question in the middle to make sure that they've read the actual job ad, and also I want someone who's detail-oriented, so they've read every sentence. And anybody who doesn't put that as the first line, they're out. I don't give you the greatest resume and the greatest work history and whatever. You didn't actually read my ad, so you're out.
Okay.
Right? And that already eliminates 80% of the people who won't be great fits for my business. Before we even get into a job, a trial, anything. So something like that, what is the actually method? And what's the first step that they have to pass through as a hoop, right? To see if they are good fits or not. And you want the person who loves it, like, wow, that's such a cool meditation, right? Like, maybe they've never meditated before. It doesn't mean they have to have like this history, but they're ready, they're open to it, and they got some value from it, right? It's like, yeah, that was cool. Wow, I didn't know you can meditate to the moon. This is awesome. Like, what do I do next? That's the person you want, versus the, wow, I can't even sit still. This is stupid. Well, this is stupid. What are we doing here? Right? Like, okay, it's like, probably not a good fit. We're probably, and it's not that you're wrong or they're wrong. It's just like, together you guys don't gel. And maybe you planted a seed for now, and then you could think of where they should go next. But it's not going to be part of you, because that's going to be a bad client for you. At least at this point. They're not ready.
And I mean, everything's going to grow and evolve anyway, like as I sink into this role more, but you're so right, though. That is the direction that I need to go. And I've known it. I've been struggling with it, and I've been actually going in that direction, like kind of up on the side.
Yeah.
I really should just jump all in and kind of maybe weed out the rest of the stuff. Time for myself to do a moon release ritual.
Right? There you go. Moon release ritual. I like it. Right?
Yeah.
Is it time? How's the moon right now?
Full moon. So
is that good?
Friday is going to be the new moon.
Friday's tomorrow.
And so that's when you, like, the sky, there's not going to be a moon in the sky at all.
Okay.
So you think about it as like a blank canvas.
Okay, there you go. The timing is perfect.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the time. Tomorrow, Friday. How am I doing myself?
Yeah. Look up at the black sky.
Look at the black sky and plan. A blank canvas. Here we go. If I'm you, I'm probably spending so you've gone through your course, you're training, you've learned a lot of stuff you didn't know before. Now it's creating your own training course to figure out how to apply your mission to actually making it happen. And so I would be spending time going to anybody who's dealing with people who are suffering from substance abuse and alcoholism, whether there's centers around where you are, whether there's programs where you can go volunteer, just to be in the area, and then try different things. Like if there's an AA meeting, could you go and volunteer to do a meditation session there?
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
Right? Like, hey, for the next new moon, with 14 days, how long?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it 14 days? Yes.
There's one full moon, one new moon every month.
Great. So for the next, like you could try that. For the next one, find an AA group where you are and say, hey, I'd love to lead people on a new moon meditation. And then it's an experiment. You see how it goes.
Yeah.
And you're figuring out your process. And I'm sure there's other people, there's probably books and courses and videos of people who are doing it as well. Like, how do I apply new moon meditation to alcoholism?
Yeah.
Right? And through that mix of like modeling those other people, and then also by you doing and being in the field testing, you start developing a process that works.
Yeah, my mind's kind of turned on.
Right, good. That's it. That's where you always want to be,
yeah.
Right? And then what happens is you go and do the free new moon meditation session at the AA meeting.
Yeah.
And at the beginning it may not hit that many people because you're still kind of figuring out how to do it, because you just expect to suck the first time you go off, and then you get better each time, right?
I think Oshawa is kind of like my town for practicing everything right now.
Yeah, it's great. But if you did a new moon every 14 days, a new moon meditation session, you would get better at it. Like by the time 6 months into next year, you'll be the expert at new moon meditations for alcoholism, right? But what will happen is some of the people in that group, some people will be like turned off and will get bored or fall asleep or get on their phones or whatever. Awesome. Don't let that deter you. Some people will really like and get value, and you'll have one or two people come up and say, I really like that. Like, do you have a business card? Like, can I work with you? Do you do coaching? Or like, how do I get more of you beyond just one free session? And that's how it builds, right? So those free events help build your expertise, but also gives you exposure for the people that want to come back and want to hire you.
Yeah, and it's more aligned doing something like that than this summer I was doing like the yoga thing that I was telling you about. So I was just running these free yoga sessions again to get exposure and of course like to help people too, just to move and be in nature.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really all aligned, and it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. But this definitely is more
Yeah,
and
like,
it feels like.
and
way
how many
better
people do
than-
yoga class? Like yoga's
Yoga's
there's tons,
everywhere.
right? But if you were the yoga
But I thought I
person,
was doing it like, still a little bit different, but it wasn't the right reasons, and I knew that I didn't want to accept money for it. I all went to donations for
Right.
my charity, so it was like I knew that I wasn't doing it for me.
yeah.
And,
But if you get great at it, it'll just start to happen. Like people will say, "Hey, can if you were more money hungry, you can make money faster, but you will make money by being great at the thing."
yeah.
People will say, "Hey, do you do coaching? Hey, and then you may be like, "Yeah, sure, let's try it." And you do it. You can start doing those for free. But eventually, you're going to get too much free work and not enough time, and you're going to have to charge her.
Yeah.
You have to. So that's when you start charging, building up. Like maybe your first coaching client after your new moon meditation in AA, you still take on for free because you don't know what it's like to coach somebody one-on-one for 6 months through alcoholism and new moon meditation.
It's not something I experienced.
Right? So that's great. So this is they're your guinea pig, and you're going to test it. But if it works, like if it works, and maybe the new moon meditation thing actually ends up working better for that person than going to the AA meetings.
Yeah.
Then that person is going to want to keep doing it with you, and they'll be willing to pay you, and they're going to tell all their friends about you. Right? So, as an example, I think I'm the same way. Like I hate charging for stuff, and it does slow things down.
There are always bigger goals, right? There is purpose for that money. Like sometimes I sit back and it's like, wouldn't it just be nice if someone like sponsored my life, like
But you need to sponsor your life. You are sponsoring your life.
Yeah, and it is a responsibility step. Like I am recognizing it, but it takes a while when you have like all these other things about money like they're drilled into you and conditioned.
Yeah, and you need to start building momentum, and free is the easiest way to build momentum, and still you gain the skills.
And I enjoy the free because
but
I
you'll
know
enjoy.
that people are going to show up.
I know, but so I'm doing my tour coming up
Yeah.
in January, and every time I went somewhere, I would always do free coffee shop meetups. I did my first one like 5 years ago or something in New York, and nobody showed up. Like 4 people confirmed that they were going to come, and then 3 canceled last minute, and then one guy, the last guy, like couldn't find the location. So like, oh man, come on. Anyway, but then this year, like the last month, I went and did it in New York again, and we had too many people in the coffee shop, and people couldn't hear me. Not everybody got a seat. It's like, okay, it's time to make this something bigger. It's time to have a paid event. Time to book a hotel room. Time to have people come out. And so
It's so exciting for you.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm still scared. Like it doesn't go away. It's like, what if nobody shows up, right? Like that can still happen. But I know that I can bring a lot of value to people because of everything that I've done up until that point.
Yeah.
But I still built the momentum off of free. So you can definitely do it. You can build the momentum off of free. But then when the time comes, when people say, hey, can I hire you for something? And you look at your calendar and you've got all this free stuff happening, like you can't take on somebody new because you're out of time for the day, start charging.
Yeah.
Right? Start making money. So I think you can get there relatively quickly with just a focused effort to learn the things now that you need to learn to just make those pieces equal so that you're holistic and your naturopath and your meditations and all that stuff. Now, how do you apply that to solve substance abuse and alcoholism?
So it would still be similar process, I'd work with diet, I'd work with exercise, I'd work with self-love and like planning around your passions and rediscovering your values. Work like that, but it would definitely be more focused and I think I'd do a lot more work. Like one thing that I really enjoy too is like working with family karma, and I think that would be a big aspect in there too. So.
Because that's what led them to get into the thing in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it'll get better results, but also more importantly, be more fulfilling for you.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right about that. I think the biggest thing that scared me was that I kind of like go back into my own child for a
Yeah,
second. Like, it's like, I can't do this, but it is.
But that's the thing. Like here, most entrepreneurs, we are positive, we are optimistic, we're seeing the best in everything. And I had this problem too. You shut off the past. You're like, okay, that happened, but I don't want to look at that ever again, right? Like, that was a really bad part of my life, and I'm so happy where I'm at now. I want to make more goodness. But like, that is actually the answer.
Yeah.
Right?
I gotta literally fix it.
Right? But not living there and getting stuck there, but using that as the fuel source to help you create the positive change that you want.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying with the mountain too, like flashing in front of your eyes, right? But it's everything up until this moment that has led me to now and has prepared me for this.
Yeah.
All those experiences.
I had a guy, I used to have a radio show, and I had a guy call in, and he said, he was a landscaper, and he was talking about how, you know, he's getting squeezed on margins because all these university kids and high school kids are offering to cut somebody's lawn for like $5, and he's, you know, trying to make a business off of it. I said, well, like, what makes you so different? And like, why did you get into this? It's like, well, growing up, my mom, like, I got into this because of my mom, and we'd spend all day outside in the lawn and planting flowers perfectly and like cutting the grass perfectly, and then she had passed, and what he does is he treats every lawn like it's his mom's lawn.
It's beautiful.
Right? So like, well, now it's different. Now, right? Like, now I want to hire you. I want to pay more for you than some college kid that's gonna like just and then go on to the next thing, right? That's the thing, same thing, right? So, but at the beginning it was hard for him to explain on his marketing. It just says, you know,
I'm the same as everyone
yeah,
else.
it looks the same, right? But it's the same thing for you. Like, if you're thinking every time you're helping somebody, like you're helping your mom, or you're helping your dad, you're helping your, you know, whoever else like had issues, and maybe you could save some of those, or maybe you couldn't save those people in your family, but like you can save this person now, right? And it'll be so rewarding.
Now I just gotta get home and start this.
Right? Well, you still have tomorrow. Tomorrow's a noon
Yeah,
meditation.
tomorrow.
It's happening. But now, if you think about your marketing, you think about your groups. Now, it makes sense of like who you're trying to target, and so it's not just anybody, but it's people who have these issues, and even just creating a space for them to explore and be around other people who are like who understand them, who are going through the same things,
Yeah,
and then tying your no judgment thing, right? Awesome.
No, yeah, when I was working in the hospitality industry, like some of my last jobs in it, that's what I was thinking. I'm like serving these people a beer or whatever, and they're telling me their problems, and I am being a coach to them and everything, but
Yeah.
it's like I'm still feeding the problem.
Right.
And, you know, that was like such a transitional time for me, and I knew that I had to do something with that.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have that clarity and really talk
Yeah.
through, you know.
And I think you'll have the empathy that other people won't, because you've been through it.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to listen better than other people. Then it can just, like if you're doing, if that's a therapy session or psychology or whatever, they'll get more from talking to you than a trained therapist who's done it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because you have the empathy, you've gone through it.
Yeah, and there's tons of like functional medicine doctors too. Like as I said, I have been connecting with people. One of them is like Dr. Dan Engel, and him and I have a meeting in January 2nd actually.
Okay.
So like we're into the new year.
Yeah.
Another synchronicity, I guess.
Okay.
And he specializes in functional medicine, and he's also a neurologist and psychologist and stuff. And he spent some time in the Amazon, so he's kind of the same thing. Wants to help people with addictions and depression and different things like that. So.
Great. And so there's the generic things. Yeah, it's great. Or your mentor or whatever, right? Like, it's fine. You're still learning as part of the process. There's the generic thing. There's the generic ideas that you have that then you have to figure out how do I apply to somebody who has an alcohol addiction. So for like moon meditation. Great. How do we make that happen to help somebody who's suffering from alcoholism?
Yeah.
What's going to be different in your words or in your language or in the intention at the beginning or the setup or the music you're playing or like any of that stuff? So that it's not just a normal mood meditation, it's applied to this thing. Yeah. And then for all the other stuff. And then like when I showed you my coffee and you're like, don't drink that, have your ginseng shots, right? Then figuring out on that side, what can you do? So if I'm not drinking my 12-pack of beer every night, what do I do?
Yeah, probably kombucha.
Right.
Get some fermented foods in there, but the good ones, not loaded in sugar. And
so that's part of the process of figuring out. Then you're taking the idea of so the theory is natural, nutritious, from nature. It's going to heal you. Awesome. Okay, but here's my specific problem. How do I deal with it? Just like what we've worked through here, it's like marketing advice. You need a target market. You need a target audience. Great, like you know that. You walked in saying that, but now we did it, right?
Yeah.
Here's how we find it. Here's who your target market is. Awesome. So now you apply that to your clients. Somebody who's dealing with a cocaine addiction. What do they do? Like what's the substitute? How do I get off of it? What am I supposed to feed into my body? Beyond just what everybody else is telling me about, like, okay, have veggies and all this. How do I get off my addiction? What's the process to do it through the nutritional side? And it might be different for cocaine than it is for alcohol than it is for something else.
Yeah.
And you don't have to know all the answers yet, but you figure out the process.
Yeah, I like that. And I see like so many connections even there too that I think it play into all the other aspects too, like the nature cycles and all that. And working with the ground and like at Food Force, like working with nature, like physically in the garden and things like that, are such good therapies for that. So.
Yeah, and maybe you go. It's winter, so you can't really do a lot outside right now. But you can go to, talk to. The city of Toronto has a whole bunch of these. What are they called? Not planetariums. What am I going to say? I've been to them. My wife loves plants. The plants, the indoor
The
greenhouse, but they're giant.
I haven't been anywhere really.
Are you serious?
I've only been here for like almost a year.
Oh, where are you from originally?
I moved quite a bit, a bit of a nomad. So I grew up in Midland area, a tiny township, but
it's still Ontario, still in.
Yeah.
Okay, but so there's giant greenhouses in Toronto.
Okay. You gotta write these.
You go to Google and search, right? And I'm sure there's something in Oshawa too. It may not be as big or whatever, but like they run all year round, and they're growing insane flowers and produce, and it's heated and tropical climates and all that stuff. Like maybe they are open to having you host an event every 2 weeks to help people who are overcoming addictions.
I love it.
And you're sitting there with like plants around you, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like maybe you breathe in the plants, or like you have to touch the leaves, or whatever you need to do, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So it's not just sitting in in a room like this. This is great, but like if nature's part of your thing, right? Or if they need to, like I think of Wim Hof and Tony Robbins. I don't know if you know both of them. So like Tony Robbins has you walk on fire at his events. They put these hot coals and you have to walk across them. And Wim Hof is the opposite. He has you sit in an ice bath. Right? And I did his event in Toronto.
You've done both?
I've done both, yeah. So the thing is, they want to bring that element of nature with an extreme heat or extreme cold to their event, right? So maybe you can't book the Toronto greenhouse, but being a part of nature is like maybe you have a giant pit of dirt.
Yeah, dirt
in your basement,
a big one for me.
Right? And everybody you take off your shoes, and we're gonna
get bare feet.
Yeah, and we're gonna sit in this pile of dirt.
Yeah,
right?
It's so crazy because I have had thoughts before, like later down the road when I got the Eco Home or whatever, that make hempcrete with everybody in an actual pit and everybody stomping down.
Okay.
And things like that. It'd be beautiful.
But you don't need an Eco Home to do that. You just need a basement.
I just need
basement.
A hole.
Yeah, basement, some wood.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a sandbox, but an adult sandbox
Yeah, and I
with
don't
dirt.
have to wait for any of it. I guess that was my point, is that I don't have to wait for any of it. I can
Yeah.
take those ideas and implement them.
You can go to Home Depot and get
Yeah.
a bunch of dirt, or I don't know if that you know, if you need special dirt or dirt that you get blessed by a shaman or like whatever, right? Like
We'll bless it ourselves.
bless it yourselves, or you get like, yeah, I don't know, maybe you can buy some imported Amazon dirt and like just sprinkle it on top and mix it in and it's in there.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, anything, whatever feeds the story, but also makes you feel like this is special. This isn't just a thin dirt and it sucks.
Yeah.
This is my ego home, or this isn't like in the Amazon. Like you make it the Amazon, you make it the environment you want, right? It may not be ideal, it may not be where you are in 10 years, in your eco home and jungle basement and,
Yeah.
you know,
I wish.
right? Like the whole
No,
basement
the
is,
basement, now you're giving me more ideas.
right? The whole basement is just dirt and earth and awesome, or your own greenhouse in the backyard or whatever. But you could start, even if it's a little like kiddie swimming pool filled with dirt, and you just sit in chairs and you put your feet in the dirt. Right? Like you could do that without crazy renovations.
Yeah.
It's portable.
I've taken people like barefoot walks and things
Yeah.
like that before.
Well, and in the summer you have lots of options,
Lots
right?
of
In the
options.
summer,
Yeah.
in Ontario, so many places you can go to, but you know.
Some people are still doing it in winter. In Manitoba,
Oh, yeah?
friend who likes the cold, like you were
Okay,
saying.
yeah, the Wim Hof.
Yeah, and he's a yoga teacher.
Okay.
And so that's what he does. His whole Instagram is like going out in the cold,
Okay.
doing these things. And
Great.
Like, oh wow.
Or maybe you rent some yurts, you know, and you're hanging out in the yurt, and you bring some dirt in the yurt. But
It's exciting.
yeah, it could be as simple as just having a kiddie swimming pool filled with a bunch of Home Depot bag
Just
dirts.
something that they can remember, right? And,
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you could go to an
Build an
AA
experience.
meeting with a kiddie swimming pool, inflatable, and 5 bags of Home Depot dirt, and now we're doing our moon meditation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I love it.
I mean,
I'll
or
invite you to the first one.
right? I mean, just taking that idea, you can always bring nature with you.
Yeah.
Even if like you
Yeah.
bring 10 leaves and we hold the leaf while we're meditating, right? It's better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can always bring nature with you, and there's always an ideal. Like yes, we want to do annual trips to the Amazon, and you're going to lead these retreats with like 100 people, go out to the rainforest, and awesome, and that's going to happen in the future. But we're going to start by
What we
holding.
have right now.
We're going to start by holding the leaf,
Yeah.
right?
I like it.
Or you just bring a plant and you sit there with the plant, or the kiddie pool with dirt. There's so much in nature you can always go.
Yeah, stones are another one I've done.
How about primes? Like how about you hold a cucumber? I don't
Yeah.
know, like anything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like we should be holding a cucumber during these sessions.
In some of my Reiki things, I'll take different produce and stuff like that. And we'll do like Reiki on them to like infuse our food with good vibes and
There you
all
go.
that, and then we cook with it.
That could be.
It can all be implemented in.
Yeah.
It's like really incredible.
Like if that's part of your thing, that you always want to have nature on you, this is where I go super weird duck. Like I love this because I think you should go all in on you,
Yeah.
right? So if you always want to be a part of nature, and then being in something like this, you know, like this is more sterile compared to this. This is
Yeah.
nothing nature in here, right? Yeah, I mean it's all nature, I guess, but like there's nothing actual, you know. But maybe every time you meet somebody, you're always holding something, or you also offer them to hold. Like maybe if you came to me and said, "Evan, would you mind if we each held a cucumber for this entire interview?" I said yes. I would do it, right? Yes. Great, but now you're different. Now it can't just be a gimmick. It's got to be something like you actually holding the lemon or whatever it is. Actually makes you feel more grounded and connected to nature, or a leaf, or like, hey, I found this leaf outside, and you know, I want to just bring a little bit of nature into this studio. So, and I might say no, I don't want to hold your stupid leaf, you know, and then fine, you hold your leaf, right? You've got it, you tuck it into your pocket, or it's always with you, right? But that'd be a cool thing. And like, hey, if you said, hey, could we start this thing with a 2-minute or 30-second leaf meditation? Yeah, great. What do we do? Guide me through it, right? But I'm just making stuff up, but going all in on you so that people will love it, or they'll be like, that's a little crazy, right? Awesome. You don't want the crazy, the people who think you're crazy, but you want the people who love it. But if you're not expressing who you are, then you won't be attracting those. They don't know what you're about.
And expressing it is like having these little actions, practicing these ways.
And everything. And expression comes in every form, like from what you're wearing to tattoos on your arms to leaf meditation to even for me, like I made a commitment to hug people instead of handshake.
Yeah, that was so welcoming.
I'm still work. I'm not a natural hugger. It's not default for me. So I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But when I see this, I go for a hug, right? Or when I see someone the first time and they're coming in, like I just start like this. It's like there's no option. We're good.
The door's open.
Yeah, but somebody might say, no, I don't want to hug. Okay, no worries. But it was super awkward the first time. I made a commitment to do it. Every time I saw the handshake, I would go for a hug. And I was at this event, and this guy said, oh, Evan, hey, like I'm a fan of your channel. Default, right? So then I just go and I hug him, and I said, I love... Oh my god, it's so bad! This is so awkward! This is so awkward. And slowly I get better, but because it's not natural for me, it still feels awkward. And so but every time I do it, you get better and you release it. Just like getting on camera, every time you do it, you get a little less awkward. So that, like, hugging is part of my new brand, right? So what's expression for you? You know, it could be giving somebody a piece of nature every time you see them.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do stones because I have a connection with them, and I have and seeds too. It could be both actually, because when I was traveling through South America, I was handing out seeds to farmers, and everybody really loved them.
Individual seeds or packet seeds or what?
Yeah, individual seeds, but sometimes it would be like a handful or whatever, it depends. But it was nice, everybody really seemed to enjoy that. I eventually started doing stones instead because of where I lived at the time. There was lots of stones,
right?
So it was not an expense for me.
Right.
But I think between the two of them, and depending on where I live, it could definitely be adapted and to really make it a more prominent part of who I am instead of
everybody gets a stone.
Yeah.
You can always get stones,
right?
Like
I like that.
Everybody gets a stone. You can have a collection of stones.
Yeah.
And then people will give you, you'll be the stone lady, right? Like, if I knew that about you, I would probably go and try to find a stone to give you.
Next time we meet.
Right? Like, if you gave me a stone this time and I knew you were coming back, I would try to find a stone to give you back. Then it becomes this thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe we do something, like maybe the stones have to touch or something. Or maybe, we just close our eyes and, connect to the stone or whatever. You leave a little thing. Gratitude, or, you paint something on the stone, or maybe that's...
I've done that too. So,
right?
Some presents, sometimes I've done that, where paint on the different chakras or the different elements and give them as a set, as meditative stones. Or,
yeah.
You can buy that stuff too, but it's always nice to have it made by someone.
This was actually from the Oshawa forest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you always have a piece of nature with you, and then you can always share a piece of nature with someone else.
Yeah.
And that's
even living in the city, right?
And that's planting seeds. And some people, I'm not super deep in all of this stuff, but I'm open to it, right? So you give me a stone and you want to do meditation, I'll play along, not just for the camera, just because I'm curious, right? I want to know your world and what you do, and maybe we come out of the meditation and my life has changed. Maybe we come out I feel nothing, but you're planting seeds.
And it's still an experience that we now share together, right?
Yeah. And it's different, and it's authentic and unique to you. That if I tried to give people stones, it wouldn't work, right? Yeah. And we're getting the countdown timer. We've got 20 seconds. People want to find you. Where are they going?
Going to I Am Elemental Growth on Instagram or elementalgrowth.org.
I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Thank you for the love.
So much. I'm so grateful, honestly.
Thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Believe.